How to Build a Multi-Billion-Dollar Business by Masiyiwa, compiled by Geoffrey Tengamba, being read to you by Arnold Rangakuramia. Chapter 11, Business Partnerships. Many people think that succeeding in business is about having a good idea and then raising capital. If you do not know how to forge meaningful long-term partnerships based on mutual trust, you will not make it. Know your partner. It was the first time I met a billionaire. I had traveled all the way to Houston, Texas, my first visit to America. Time and space constrains me to tell you what I had gone to see him about. I planned to be there for a week. The first day he invited me to lunch, and every time I tried to talk about the business idea, he would brush me aside and say, "Tomorrow, son." Next day, I managed to see him, only for a few minutes, and when I tried to raise the issue of my business plan, he said, "Tomorrow, son." Then changed the subject, asking instead, "What do you think of Houston?" And again invited me for dinner, this time with his wife. On the third day, he invited me to his office, looked at me intently, and finally said, "Son, I like you. The most important thing in business is to know your partner. I like what I have seen of you. Now, I know you a little. You can discuss with my people the details of what you have in mind." And with that, he politely led me out of his office. Over the next few days, I faced the most intense grilling about my life and background that I had never faced. They wanted to know everything about me, and that was before they asked a single question about my business idea. I learned later that even in those 3 days of informal discussions, they had been evaluating me. I did not mind because this was one of the most important rules of the game at the very top. Remember what I had said before? Every game has its rules and its own language. This is one of them. Know your partners. That encounter with the most successful person in business I had yet met gave me a lifelong lesson. You must know your partner. It is not possible to grow big on your own. You will need partners. In the end, it is really about partnerships. Many people think that succeeding in business is about having a good idea and then raising capital. If you do not know how to forge meaningful long-term partnerships based on mutual trust, you will not make it. What are your partners? How well do you really know them? Incidentally, I never did business with a Texan businessman because my idea was actually not that good. But I learned how to evaluate and be evaluated, and that was priceless. When I was starting out in business nearly 30 years ago, I was made to believe that the best partners were those people in powerful positions who had the ability to open big doors. Being a young entrepreneur, there were many powerful people who offered themselves to be my sleeping partners or godfathers to whom I could go if I had trouble with anyone in the system. As many of you are aware, I was not born in a Christian family. I became a Christian by choice when I was already a well-established businessman. It was a deep personal decision, and this is not the platform to discuss that issue. However, having made this decision, I threw myself with total fervor, often reading the Bible back to back several times a year as I tried to come up to speed with my newfound faith. It was at this time that I came to realize that I had to play by and succeed by a different set of rules. My partnerships had to align with my faith in and trust in God. I could not and would not have sleeping partners in any business that I do. I could not and would not choose partners simply on the basis of their ability to wield influence or to sponsor my activities. Let me tell you, this set me on a collision course everywhere I went because I was essentially shunning an entire world system. I was despised and mocked for it. Those who were polite called me naive, and others not so kind said I was a fool. We lost many contracts and many business opportunities. Often, we had to walk away from deals that were just mouth-watering. More often than not, we were just threatened and kicked out, leaving others to take over what we had started. And when this happened, I just never allowed myself to have regrets about it. One of my great mentors, Bishop Garlington, once said to me, "You are standing in the river of faith. Do not be afraid. You are not going to be swept away, and you are not going under. Use your faith to go over." Then he said to me, "Focus on integrity, because one day you will be the partner of choice for anyone wanting to do business in Africa the right way." Do you want a partner? Let me share with you a secret. The best partner for you is not some big powerful politician or someone with a lot of money or some big international company. The best partner for you is someone just like you, who has the passion for entrepreneurship like you have, who has the skills to complement what you do best, and is willing to work hard, very hard, alongside you. It might be a man or a woman, black or white, even from a different tribe or nationality from you. What is key is to align your values and respect each other's space. Never mind the money, the power, and the influence. It's not a factor. If you can phone him, don't write. If you can see him, don't phone. An old sage in business told me that if there is any misunderstanding with your partner or even the possibility of a misunderstanding on an issue, if you can phone and discuss it, then do not write. And if there is an opportunity to see the person, then do not phone or write to them. Go and see them. As I have said before, you cannot get big and successful in business without an ability to forge strong partnerships. The most important thing in business is to know your partner. You must understand their aspirations and hopes. And even with all this, misunderstandings will emerge and there may be possibility of a misunderstanding. The moment this happens, do not fire off an SMS or an email. Look for an opportunity as soon as possible to talk face to face. Do it straight away. And when you do meet, listen to what the other person has to say first. And finally, remember what the Bible teaches. You cannot be right and reconciled at the same time. Holding regular meetings with your partners is very important. Entrepreneurs are generally very busy people and they spend their time running around trying to sell their products and to make ends meet, as they say. And unfortunately, many entrepreneurs consider having formal meetings as a waste of time and simply want to get out there and do things. This is not very wise. It does not matter what business you're in or how small it is important to sit down and have proper meetings. And by this, I do not mean chatting over things whilst relaxing over coffee. I mean you must have scheduled meetings during working hours, when you sit down with your partners and also with your staff to discuss what is going on in the business. Always hold such meetings during normal working hours. It serves as a reminder that you consider it to be an integral part of your business. Before you start your discussion, you must agree what you are going to talk about and select someone to keep a record of your meeting. Before the next meeting, everyone must agree that the record of your previous meeting is the correct one. This is one of the most important disciplines for you to learn if you want to grow and build your business. As I have said before, such meetings are not serious if they do not begin and end with a discussion on finances. This is the engine and lifeblood of the business. Proper financial reporting, followed by robust, competent discussion of the figures. When we were very small, I would begin by saying, "Bookkeeper, take us through your report." And now, 30 years later, it's the same. "CFO, please take us through your report." Practice to spend most of your time discussing figures, not just exchanging stories. Remember, you are in business now. In your agenda, you must always have agreement on what to constitute your policies as a business. And these you must write down and jointly sign with your partners. Keeping proper written records is key to your success. Keep the records safe and always have copies. It is very bad to operate your business in this day and age, someone as educated as like you, on verbal agreements. In your discussion, make sure you discuss sensitive and difficult issues. For example, so how much are we going to pay ourselves in salary? What can we afford? How many shares do we each have in the business? Let's agree. Let's sign. This is business now. And remember, pay everyone their due, including the little cousin helping to clean the place. She has dreams too. That's business now. Pay your taxes also. We must always respect agreements and contracts. In the book of Joshua, there is a story about a group of people called the Gibeonites, who managed to secure an agreement with Joshua and his leadership team by false pretenses. When the leadership of the Israelites discovered that what had happened, they were furious. The intriguing thing is what happened next. Joshua chapter 9 verse 18 to 20 in the Living Bible. The people of Israel were angry with their leaders because of the peace treaty. But the leaders replied, "We have sworn before the Lord God of Israel that we will not touch them, and we won't. We must let them live, for if we break our oath, and the wrath of Jehovah will be upon us." Now, these things were written for our learning. So, what do you learn from this incident that can be of help to you in your business, even today? Number one, before you enter into agreements of any kind to work with other people, you must do your due diligence of those people properly. However, once you enter into an agreement and you give your word, you must adhere to the agreement that you signed. All too often, people try to back out of agreements they have made if they find they believe they were misled or the other party did not give them the right information about themselves or even misled them. Number two, adhering to and respecting an agreement with a party that you consider weaker than yourself is the ultimate test of integrity. It is never about the integrity of the other party. It is about your integrity that you must focus on. There is nothing that disturbs me more than business people who do not want to respect agreements they have made when the situation no longer seems to favor them. They are people who default on loan agreements, supply agreements, and contract agreements simply because they consider the other party too weak to do anything to them. Joshua's integrity was tested to the full when the Gibeonites were attacked and appealed for his help under the agreement. Now, many people would have said, "This is God's vengeance against those lying cheats. Let them deal with it themselves." But hey, read on. Joshua mobilized his army to go out and fight the enemies of the Gibeonites. And here is another thing. God joined the fight with Joshua to help save the Gibeonites. When you enter into an agreement, whether it be verbal or written, you must respect it. Do not borrow money from people, and when they come looking for their money, you threaten them and tell them to go away. Don't promise your employees salaries and promotions that you will ignore once you get them to do what you wanted. Don't strip your partners of their shares simply because you believe you have more power. Finally, you must also respect agreements that others have made before you came. If you buy a business or property, respect existing agreements and even titles. If you take over management or leadership, respect every agreement made by your predecessors, even if they were not smart agreements in your opinion. Time constrains me to tell you what happened when a king of Israel hundreds of years later ignored this very same agreement with the Gibeonites. God loves integrity. End of chapter 11.